Hi, I want to demonstrate with you some dry brushing, and we're going to be using the Dynasty Decorator brushes and the Chisel Blenders. So I want to show you the difference between the two brushes being used. And so I'm going to move my camera down so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just going to get set up here. Okay, let me move my stuff around. Okay, so I have here on paper a couple little different ways to dry brush. Let me make sure everything's on the camera here. And so I have a circle here, and dry brushing is not only for highlighting, it's also for shading. And these are the dome brushes by Dynasty. There's different sizes from 4 to 12. And also chisel blenders are also made for dry brushing as well. And they come in a variety of sizes. These are from Black Gold. So I have Americana Decor paint. And so here I have True Red. I made it like a little, my little Santa Claus belly. And this here, I made it like a face. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this part here with some shading and some highlighting. And I want to show you the difference between using, again, the round or chisel blender, which are flat. You always use these brushes dry. So I'm going to apply some True Red on my palette here. Okay. And I'm also going to put some Cool White on my palette. Okay, and I'm going to put maybe a little darker, no, I'm just going to use my lamp black for some shading. Okay, and you also need a lot of paper towel, okay? Now, when this is a circle, it's okay to use the dome dry brush, because you'll have a lot of room to apply the dry brushing, okay? So the first thing I want to do is highlight the bottom and the top using the dome brush. And this will be, I can use a number 8. So what I want to do is make the red, the True Red, one tone down. So what happens is you're going to load your brush with True Red. Okay, and you're going to dry it as much as possible onto the paper towel. And you also want to get the sides here, because if you don't, it's going to go onto your design and it's not going to be soft. So I picked up a little bit of white. So I'm making it one shade lighter. Okay, and I'm really drying as much as possible on my paper towel. It's always good to apply light and add more dry brushing when needed, okay? So I'm gonna go to the edge here, and I'm just brushing it on back and forth. I'm trying not to go over my line here, okay? So I highlighted the bottom of the red here. I want to pick up a little bit more, so I'm going to add a little bit more highlight. So I'm just adding more white. And I'm going to dry brush as much as possible onto my paper towel. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back and forth. Okay, now I'm going to add some little, like some shadow here with a little bit of a mix of True Red and some lamp black. And because you're going to be doing under another design, I'm going to use a Chisel Blender, and I can use number 8, that's fine. So always use these dry. I'm going to load my True Red. Okay, I'm going to wipe as much as possible onto the paper towel, And again, I'm making sure that these part here are also being dry. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of lamp black here. Whoops. I'm going to mix the two colors together. A little bit strong on the black. Pick up a little bit more red. Okay. Just a little bit more red. I went strong on my black. Okay. So I'm going to go along the edge of the black, and I'm going to run my brush flat along the edge here. This will add like a shadow effect, or what we call floats. Okay. So I started from my black belt here and going downwards. Now, if I want to make this a little darker and smaller highlight, I'm going to pick up a little Chisel Blender number 6. I'm going to pick up some white, and I'm going to wipe it on my paper towel. And I'm going to turn this piece around because I want it to be at the bottom. So when you use a Chisel Blender, this makes it like if you added a line right along the little highlight. So let me show that again. So I'm going to demonstrate maybe on this part here. Let me pick up some, I'm going to use the same brush. I'm going to pick up some True Red. I'm going to wipe it on my paper towel here. I'll pick up a little bit of white. Mix those two colors together. Okay, so I'm going to do this on starting at the center. I'm going to work all the way around in the circle. And when you see that you don't have any more, pick up a little bit more white. Again, you want to really make sure that you're wiping the sides too, okay? I'm going to continue where I left off. Okay, so there's my highlight in the center of my True Red. Okay, now I want to add a highlight. We can just say along the bottom left side. So I'm going to pick up that little Chisel Blender number 6. I'm going to pick up some white. And when I load both sides of my bristles here. And I'm going to wipe as much as I can on my paper towel. So I'm going to run along the circle here. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. Like I said, it's always better to go light than dark. So let's and by using a Chisel Blender, it leaves like a nice clean edge from on the outside. Okay, here I have like a face figure, and I have a nose here. I want to show you how to do cheeks and how to highlight the center of the little nose. So we can, when you do this, like for testing, yes, I can use this brush so it's not too big, okay? So I'm going to load the True Red. I'm going to pick up some white, mix those two together, and I'm wiping as much as I can. So I'm going to hold my brush straight up and just go in circle, and there I have my little nose highlight. And to do cheeks, I'm going to just add a little bit more on my palette here. To do the cheeks, I'm going to take the smaller dome brush, dry brush, which is number 4. I'm going to load it with the red, okay? And I'm going to wipe as much as I can on my paper towel. And again, I'm making sure I'm wiping the sides. Okay, and to do cheeks, you're going to start here and you're going to work in a circle. Now, when you see a big smudge like that, that's because I didn't wipe as much paint off of my brush here. So I'm wipe some more off and I'll show you the difference when it's almost dry. See the difference between really dry and not dry. So again, it's always to test. You can also test your paint by, you can use a scrap paper or by using your paper towel. If you see that by moving here and there and you barely have any showing, that means it's dry enough. Okay, so I have here, I'm going to put some fresh white on here. And I like to do a little face. You can dot, I have stylus here. You can just dot your little eyes and some white on your cheeks. And to add a little more highlight here, you can take that little chisel blender, load it, wipe it, and then you can just add a little highlight on the top. Okay, I have these little small tight sections. So to show you the difference on which brush is best to use, you would, like for instance, I need to wipe some of my paint off my brush. So I'm going to use hand sanitizer. Okay, I have just base coated with Calypso Blue. And I'm going to put some on my palette here. Okay, and I'm going to mix the Calypso Blue and some white. Okay, so I know that this brush here will be perfect for the inside of my my little squares, these two right here. Okay, so I picked up some Calypso. I'm wiping as much as I can. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. Okay, and if I go on a clean spot, I know that there's barely any on it. So I'm going to just blend the inside of it. Like I said, it's always best to go light than dark. So let's pick up a little bit more white. Okay, I'm going to do my circle here. Okay, so for the little square, you can use a smaller little chisel blender. You have a 2 and you also have a 4. So these ones here would be great for these type of elements. So I'm going to use the number 4 chisel blender, and I'm just going to pick up white. I just want to show you the white highlight. Okay, so I'm wiping the sides of my bristles. Okay, and I just want to highlight along the edge. Okay, so you have the edge to the center here. I'm going to pick up some more. And I'm just going to, see, I have way too much. I'm going to wipe some more off. By laying your brush on an angle, not straight up, on an angle, you're going to have a little highlight. It'll go stronger on the edge, and as you work to the center, it tones it down. So that one here wasn't wet. I mean, it was too wet. It wasn't dry enough. I have here a little bee, and this one here, because it's not so round, you would be using a chisel blender, okay? Because you can get into these little tight areas. So load my brush. I'm gonna just pick up some white, okay? And I took enough off. So I'm just gonna lightly go along the inside edge, okay? Oops, I just want you to see this. So I have my little highlight there, and if you want some of the little end here, just turn Just go into like a circle, and you can still use your chisel blender. Now, if you wanted like a highlight going down this way, again, I'm going to pick up some white. Okay, and I'm going to go down the line right to the center here, lightly, and here I have a highlight. Now, for my little face here, because it's so black, I'm going to use the bigger dry brush number 12. I'm going to load that with some white here, and I'm going to wipe as much as I can. Okay. Now I'm going to start really soft. I'm not adding too much pressure. This would be my highlight for my face. Okay? Very soft. And I probably have more along the left side than I do the right side, because this is where I started. Okay? Now, bees have little white wings, so we can add some dry brush with some blue here. So I just want to show you that. And we can use the dome. I'll use the number 6 dome. So I'm going to make sure I wipe it all off. I'm going to make sure my sides are all taken off. So on my paper towel, I can see that as I'm moving my brush, the paint fades. So it shows that I'm pretty good with the dry area. So I'm going to start at the bottom here and then work it to the top. And the bottom part will be darker than the top area. So I think I have enough on here to do this part here. So I'm going to start from the bottom and lightly go to the top. So this one here, it was kind of wide. My brush was kind of wide for that little section, so I should have used the Chisel Blender. But again, it shows you that you know, you have to make sure you have the proper size of brush when you're working on a little area. So what I would do is just take a brush, wet it, and just wipe it. Okay, let's do these little wings. So I picked up a little bit more blue. Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom here, go back and forth. Okay, go back and forth. And then I'm going to fade out my paint to the top. So this shows that you got darker and you're going lighter as you're moving your bristles to the top. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to wipe as much as I can. Again, I'm going to start from the tip here. And just keep moving it. I'm going in circles. And there you have it. You went from dark and going lighter to the tip of your little brush, your wing. And so that concludes the dry brush decorator series. And chisel blenders are also for dry brushing. So I hope that explains a little bit about the proper usage, like the sizes and how to apply on your surface. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, just send me a message. Thank you.